April will make 10 years.
Wow. You going to do anything special to celebrate 10 years on the road?
And drive more loads.
Drive more loads. There you go. You really just like driving.
I love driving.
Welcome to Six Figure Trucker, the podcast where we share advice on how to be successful in trucking and have fun while doing so. We'll share stories, news, and advice on how to earn six figures in trucking, and we'll speak to guys and gals that are already doing so. Let's get to the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport, where we join you each and every week on Thursday. And you know, this is a format, an avenue, a space where we elevate and celebrate the drivers, all those who make it happen here for us at Norton Transport, make this company go round and round, of course, make the truck wheels go round and round. That has a lot to do with the economy for this country. Now, each and every week we have different guests on here. Most of the time it is truck drivers, and they tell us their stories from the road, some good, some bad, some scary, some not. But we have a very special guest with us this afternoon, and that is Jarrieal Scott. He is actually joining us in person. Jarrieal, how are you?
I'm doing good today.
Now, how is it that we're lucky enough to have you here in person at our office in Ringgold, Georgia, right on the Tennessee state line?
Well, I was passing by, and I was like, let me stop in and get a couple things to meet everybody over here at the office. And I've never been to the office, so this is different atmosphere.
Different than what you had envisioned it?
Yes.
How so?
Because when you talk to your dispatcher on the phone, you try to picture like what they look like, like on a daily basis. Who am I dealing with? And you deal with the people, and then once you come in, you meet them, you're like, oh, you don't look that like I thought about.
Do you think they've got the same reaction of you?
Yes, I'm sure they do.
It's like, there's Jarrieal, right there he is. Now, how long will you be in town? You said you had a little bit of downtime, and what's your next move?
My next move, I'm heading back to Canada.
Heading back to Canada. As you will soon find out here in this episode, this man has been to Canada quite a bit. He's running the roads up there. Now, are you on your way home, or you?
Oh no, I'm going to Canada. I stopped in and got fuel over at Ringgold, and I'm heading north up to Quebec, actually.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to Quebec, and it's like, so you stopped up at Ringgold, so that tells me you've got a CNG.
Uh-huh.
I got you. So you went off the Industrial Parkway up here in Ringgold, Rollins.
Oh, yes.
All right. Filled it up. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you've become quite experienced. This is a garbage truck. For those of you out there listening, it's a compressed natural gas garbage truck that you're taking. Where is it going?
This is going to St. John's, Quebec, up there north of Montreal.
How many miles is that?
It's going to be a lot of miles, but I'm going to try to keep it up under 13 at the most. Looking at the routes, is a lot of CNG spots are actually coming up now. But I can get it there. It's no big deal. I can get it there.
Now, we're talking to Jarrieal here on a Thursday in the week. What are you looking at as far as projections, as far as when you're going to actually get there?
I can get there Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon, yeah.
What's it like spending 7 days in a garbage truck by yourself?
It is a experience. I want to say to me, I love working. I love driving. Ever since I got my license when I was 17, I love driving. And being in a garbage truck has always been a thing of mine. When I was a little kid, I always loved to drive. I always wanted to drive trucks. And to be in a garbage truck, driving across the country, bouncing up and down, and I just get used to it. Like, I love it. I don't complain a lot. I just love to be out there and be on the road. But driving a garbage truck, it's the first time I actually did one, it was pretty interesting.
I got to say, you're an appreciated driver, very much so. Maybe somewhat rare, but definitely appreciated when the truck's bouncing and doesn't bother you. How do you adapt?
You learn to overcome some things. Driving on the road is very stressful. But to me, I leave all that stress at the house. When I'm on the road, I'm all about working and trying to get to the next load, but also do it safely at the same time.
Gotcha. We're going to touch on that in just a second here because right now we're talking to Jarrieal in January, first week in January, and you've experienced some cold weather,
Ooh.
garbage trucks, and compressed natural gas.
Right.
That's a volatile combination, not meaning that literally for people out there listening. But what have you learned about CNG in the cold weather and on these long trips?
So CNG, driving through the mountains, going to any higher elevations, I learned that, it lasts a little longer because it's compressed natural gas. So, I learned that using like the bigger nozzles sometimes doesn't like work because it pushes it in so fast and it doesn't fill it all the way up. But when you use the smaller nozzle, the smaller fill nozzle, it actually goes in slow and it has the time to I would say cool down as it's compressing in those tanks. But in the cold, driving up in the mountains, okay. I'm gonna put it like this. I don't see much of a difference when you go into higher elevations, but it does last longer. I can tell you that it does last longer because the truck that I actually took from when I got into Canada and I filled up at my first fuel stop, and my next fuel stop was Kelowna. Well, on the way, the road was shut down.
Oh, boy.
So I had to go additionally like at least 200 more miles to get to Kelowna. And when I got there, I was happy that I made it. But the first time I went, it was just a bad accident on the road. So I had to turn around and go back down the hills, go back towards Marriott, and go all the way around towards to Kelowna, British Columbia. And
now we're talking about this detour. We're not talking about 5-6 miles.
We're talking about like 300, another additional 200 to 300 miles.
And the range, I know the one you're speaking of here because it was on our account. I know the one you're speaking of. What was the range you were having to fill up before this detour happened, and how far were you able to make it when you had to do the detour?
Well, from Abbotsford, which is right across the border, you fill up right there. From Abbotsford to Kelowna is 200 miles. And if you have to make a detour, it's additional 200 miles. So it's like close to 400.
You're pushing the range on those CNG tanks.
You're pushing it. But when I got there, I was empty. Bone dry empty. But I also learned, too, that if you slow down and actually drive slower, you actually can save. Because I picked up another one that I did out of Quebec there. And that one took me that was the first time I actually did a longer run in the CNG. That one actually took a long time to get there. But I got it there. The first driver got it there. I was like the third driver to get it. But I found out that now those tanks, you only can go 100 and close to 200 miles at that. But I actually did more. I actually did like 210. But I was actually driving so slow, like 50 miles an hour.
It makes a difference.
It does make a difference when they're so spaced out.
Was this a 4-tank unit that you ran?
No, this was a single tank.
Single tank?
Yeah, it's a single tank. So
wow.
The range on it it just sucked on that one. But then the second one came and I was testing it out, and actually you can actually get far on the ones that they're building now, because they're actually they changed a lot with the CNGs. They got different tanks. Depends on where it goes and how the customer is ordering the truck.
Now, when you were talking about the different sizes of the nozzles and the slow and the fast, how much time we've heard on the slow fill, you're talking about 4 hours versus about 20 minutes on the fast fill. But you were talking more about the nozzle size.
Yeah, the nozzle sizes, yes.
And so if you can go small, it's better.
Yeah, if you go small, it's better because it actually it has the times to, when it pushes in the gas, it has the time to cool down at the same time. When it's the fast fill, it only fills it up 90%. When it's a slow fill, it fills it up to 100.
How much time difference are we talking about here?
Time difference is like 20 minutes. Not even 20. I would say 14 minutes at the max. It depends on if everything goes right at the pump, because sometimes the pump don't work right, or the nozzle doesn't connect. So you just,
Different variables come into play.
yes, right.
But it's definitely worth the wait. I mean, you're only talking about 6 minutes.
Right.
Versus,
And it gives you time to, to learn the truck. Because sometimes I like to make sure everything works before I get the truck delivered to the customer. That way they don't have a problem with the unit.
Right.
They come because they will call back and say, hey, was this working when you got it? So, I like to make sure everything is working when I do pick up the truck.
what do you walk us through your pre-trip when you're picking up a garbage truck? What are you looking for?
So my pre-trip, I'm looking for. I check. I do my base. I check the oil, transmission fluid. Make sure it ain't leaking. I make sure, like especially with CNG, you got to make sure it's not leaking gas because you can actually smell the natural gas. And I look for loose things. I make sure that I don't hear any hissing sounds coming from like the fittings because they do leak. You may not see it, you may not hear it, but they do leak. They do come loose. I mean, I had one CNG and it just went bonkers. I don't know what happened. So, and it's an auto cart, so it's a different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like pre-trip goes, I do my base. I check the tires. I check everything. And I didn't even know this as driving trucks. I didn't know it was a difference on the tires too. So like in Canada, when I took the trucks up to Canada, found out those was actually snow tires on the truck. So I found out that you don't need snow chains.
Nice. That's one less expense right there.
Right. But usually if I have to put on chains, I gotta stop. I'm shutting down. It's dangerous.
Do you still use chains or do you use those socks that they talk about now? Or I don't know if socks is the right term.
I've used both. But like I said, if it gets too bad, I shut it down.
Wait till it gets better.
I try to get off the road. It ain't worth me losing my life or endangering somebody else's life.
Right.
Because it get crazy out there.
Right.
Like the second run that I did, I was driving through Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Driving through the mountains, and fog came. Now that fog, when the mist was coming out, it was freezing at the same time. So it wasn't bad accidents on there, but I was just taking my time,
Being prepared for
what
could happen.
Right. So like slowing down is like the best thing to do. Luckily the roads wasn't icy, but it did get icy at one point, but it wasn't that bad.
Now, let's go back to the run you made to British Columbia there. That was one of the first for this particular company, garbage truck manufacturer, that had made it, compressed natural gas, out to that far away Western Canada. I forget what was it, like 4,000 miles?
Oh, yeah, it was like 4,500.
4,500 miles?
4,500 miles.
Was that a good feeling of accomplishment to do that?
Yes, it was. Especially leaving Kelowna, getting to Calgary. Woo-hoo. That is scary because there's no CNGs between that point. So it's like you're driving through the mountains, and I'm talking about you can be going straight, but you ain't going straight. It's a turn coming this way, a turn coming that way. You're going up and down hills. You're driving through avalanche cities, but the sights are beautiful, though. I can tell you that. It's a beautiful things I've ever seen out there. Looks like Christmas card out there, but totally different ball game.
You talk about the beauty, and we talked about that where you were talking about the totally different ball game before we started recording. The roads, they're different.
Roads are very different. One thing I can honestly say about Canada, they actually do clean the roads. They clear the roads really good. Versus like U.S., but the U.S. is actually getting better, especially like 80 and stuff. They actually are shutting it down before it even gets bad. So they're getting better at it, especially like being up in Montana, coming out of Billings. You got that rough part after Billings, but being up in Canada, they actually do keep the roads pretty clean. They clean the roads, especially like going from Abbotsford to Kelowna. They do keep it clean.
But the quality of the roads is different. They keep it clean, but the driving conditions, I guess, of the road, even though it's clean, is different from the States.
Depends on which part of Canada you go to, because it can get bumpy. It can get bumpy. But as far as like the roads go, they're very smooth. I never had an issue driving up there on the roads, because the roads they're nice. They keep them clean. They keep them paved. Only problem I have is like when I go to like Quebec, and the roads are just horrible. But they're fixing everything. They're trying to fix it. They're trying to get it right. But it is bumpy. Oh, God.
Now, you've been up to Canada so much here in the last 6 weeks or so. They kind of know you on a first-name basis at the border.
Right.
You were telling me about that. What's that been like?
Well, crossing the border, I remember the first time I crossed the border, it was you don't know what to do. You're like, oh, what do I do? What do I say? But you just go up there, you hand me your passport, your paperwork. They tell you what to do. They got signs. You just read the signs. And then they try to trick you, too, on the questions. So they'll ask you the questions, and then they'll ask you it again, but ask it in a different format. Or you'll get one guy that wants to talk about football, or you get one guy that used to be a truck driver. So it depends on who you get. I dealt with females. I dealt with males. Border crossing from back in the U.S. It's not bad at all. Those guys are fun. They're funny. When you're crossing back over in the U.S.
Glad to see you coming back to the States.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, welcome back.
Now, one thing we wanted to talk about, because I did a little research on Jarrieal Scott, and you're listening to Jarrieal here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Wanted to brag on you for a minute here. We looked at your check-in percentage for last quarter of 23, 95%. Obvious question is, how do you do that?
Well, when it comes up, actually, I keep it set up on my phone. So, like, when it does come in on the text message, I already have it set up, so I can just click it on my phone, and it'll automatically regenerate where I'm at on the app. But also, the app works very well, and it tracks everything. So that also works too, especially like when you're driving and it gives you your fuel every 400 miles. Mm-hmm. It knows exactly where you're at. Like, it never misses a beat. It knows if you done 400, it knows when you did 400. Right. And it'll come right to the card as far as like your money go. But checking in is like very easy.
And you've also, with the app, you can do your logs.
Oh yes.
Is that something you also use when you're out there on the road?
Yes, I do. I do the e-logs, electronic logs, and even I just had an inspection too. He checked my logs, and everything was fine. It was like a level 2 inspection, which I passed. It was easy.
That's a good feeling, though.
Oh yeah. I said, "Oh, you just made me $200." He was like, "Oh, glad to do the service," and it was right in Montana too. So.
Do you get nervous on inspections or not?
No, I don't. They got a job to do. I don't want to make nobody's job harder than mine's. I mean, we already got a hard job as it is, driving, dealing with different types of people, drivers on the road. It's crazy people out there. But going in as an inspection, you just go in with a good attitude. If you know everything is all right, everything is all right. There's nothing they can do. They can't hurt you. They're not going to put you out of service unless don't make yourself, I want to say it, don't put yourself out there if you don't want to be like, if you don't want to be seen. Like, don't make it obvious that, oh God, I didn't do my logs or I didn't do this.
Right, I got you. So, if you could see Jarrell's face right now, it says everything.
But as far as like inspections go, I never had any issues doing it. I haven't. I failed when I first got in the driveway. I failed an inspection, and it wasn't my fault. The truck was just old. Right. It was just old. Sometimes we do get those units where it's just like, oh,
something's not right on it.
Right. And, you're driving it. It drives fine. It's not leaking. It's not, you don't hear no air or nothing. But it's just the smaller things, because some of those guys, they try to get you on just stupid crap. And it's like, what? So it's like, I found it easier just to just go in with a good attitude, and, the outcome may be good on the other end.
Well, you're listening to the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. You're listening to Jarrieal Scott here, telling us his adventures in Canada in a garbage truck, going out of route, going on a detour. Didn't go out of route, went on a detour because he had to, because of Mother Nature, and there was an accident.
That was an accident. Like, it was bumper to bumper. And I was like, oh, I got to turn around because I can't sit here and waste my clock, you know.
Waste your clock and waste the fuel.
right. Especially CNG.
Now, if you've been listening here to Jarrieal, he's got a 95% check-in rate. That was for last quarter, the last quarter of 2023. 100% completion for the last quarter. Yay, Jarrieal. How do you do that?
Well, when they got bonuses, and I love money. I love money. As far as like completion goes, it's all about planning out your route. When you plan out your route, you know where you're going. Because I do help out other Norton drivers that I meet out on the road, and they'll call me and say, "Hey, where's this stop at? Where's this stop at?" And I'll be like, "Okay, I'll help you." I don't like to see another driver fail. So when I first got into driving, my trainer said, "Always plan out your route before you take it. Before you drive, plan your route out, because you never know what'll happen. So you got to have a back burner, have something to back that up. So
right. Just
in case, like, when I was going up to Kelowna and it was an accident, I didn't panic. I just said, you know what? I think I can make it. And I actually made it. So, you know, and I was actually driving slow. Like, people behind me was mad, but hey, you're the captain of the ship. You take your time, you'll get it there.
You're listening to Jarrieal Scott here on the Six Figure Trucker. Now, you know, he was talking about not panicking, and I wish you could see Jarreal's face here. Doesn't look like much bothers this guy. Is that true?
Nope. No. Nothing bothers me. I'm very calm. You know, just driving. I just love driving. You know, I sleep a lot. I do take my time. If I don't feel like driving and if I feel like I'm tired, I'll say, "Hey, look, I'll finish it out tomorrow."
Right.
You know, I call in and say, "Hey, look, I'm tired." You know.
Well, that's smart.
And it has, by doing that, it shows a lot that you care about your job, and you care about yourself, and you care about your health.
And you care about other people.
Right, other people too. So,
well, to recap the stats here, last quarter, 95% check-in, 100% completion, and what you just said kind of leads us to the next category. I wouldn't necessarily categorize you as a road warrior, but definitely a steady Eddie. Would that be fair? Steady?
Right.
I mean, we've seen some other ones, but 6,900 miles a month. Is that what you shoot for?
Yeah, I try to shoot for at least seven or close to 10.
Well, now you're getting into road warrior status.
I try to, but a lot of times, you know, life happens. You take vacations and you get to relax. You know, spend time with family. You know, that's most important too. But also, I just love driving. I love being out on the open road.
Well, your stats indicate that 500 miles a day, 6,900 miles a month last quarter on that. When you look at that 500 miles a day, I mean, obviously there are guidelines and laws which regulate what you can do. But is that a good benchmark for you, 500 miles?
Yes, I try to do, especially like on the first pickup, I try to get as much miles as I can on that first day. Because I like, and then also I keep the customer in mind too, because they ordered the truck, they're waiting on the truck. It has to, you know, they're waiting on the truck. They're ready for it. They're ready to put it out.
They want that truck.
Yeah, they pay that much money for it. You know, they're ready for it. So when I look at it, I don't just think about myself. I think about customers. I think about you know, the people that's involved in all this and getting me set up to get it there.
Let's kind of drill down on what you're talking about. Having a plan. What's Jarreal's plan? Let's just make up a route. Let's say you're taking a garbage truck from Alabama to, let's go to Chicago. It's a short run.
Sure.
But what's your plan?
My plan is like, okay, so I get, you know, talk to your dispatcher, get it dispatched to you. The first thing I do is look at the route. I look at the weather. I look at how the roads are. You know, you can actually go on the websites, the government websites, DOT websites, and they actually will tell you what's going on, construction. I look at all that. and I also tell another driver, a friend of mine, look at the weather. I look at traffic. I look at weather. I run at a different time, especially like dealing with Chicago. He's talking about Chicago there, but just look. I pay attention to the weather. That's what keeps me. It can change on you though.
Especially now.
Yeah, especially now. Right. But most of the time, like usually during the winter time, I drive during the day. It's better. I better drive during the day so I can see. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes I have driven at night, right, and the roads have been clear. But I also I pay attention to the weather. I have like 3-4 weather apps on my phone. They all say different things, but they have caught me. They have got me to the person I am now. I can just put it that way.
The weather apps.
Weather apps. Oh yeah.
That's a lot to say for an app there to make you. The stats speak for themselves, and if you're listening out there to Jarrieal Scott here on the Six Figure Trucker, had a great last quarter in 2023, and he's off to a great start this year. We're barely into the year, but your check-in percentage is still 96%. Completion is at 93%, and you're doing 581 miles a day. I would imagine, since we're so early in January, this is all the fruits of one load.
Right. Yeah, that's one load. Yeah, that was actually the first load. Yeah, that was the first load. It's all about, just planning your ride out, just planning your fuel stops, where you're going to eat at, where you're going to stop at, where you're going to sleep at. And that's the way I work. Like I said, I was trained that way when I first started driving. He put the knowledge in my head, my trainer. I still talk to him to this day.
Who was your trainer?
My trainer, his name was Johnny Young, and I still talk to him to this day. He works for himself too as well. He has a whole bunch of trucks out there now, but he taught me a lot. And I actually was driving trucks before I got in, but I didn't have a CDO. But I was driving at parking lots. That's how I learned how to do a lot of stuff too.
How long have you been driving?
For almost 10 years. April will make 10 years.
Wow. You going to do anything special to celebrate 10 years on the road?
And drive more loads.
Drive more loads. There you go. Now, you've mentioned several times about you really just like driving.
I love driving.
What about it appeals to you?
The open road, watching the sunset, the sceneries, talking to different people. I meet different people out there. It's now since I'm not entitled to it, like this, to be in a truck constantly, I get more. It's more freedom doing this driveaway stuff, and being able to go. I meet different people, different drivers. It's just everywhere. People come out of me out of the blue. Hey man, what do you do? How can I get into it? And I steer them in the right way. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. I'm gonna tell them how it is.
I like what you did there. You steer them in the right way.
Right, steer them the right way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool there. Now, what would you say to somebody who has no background, no experience in driveway trucking, and they ask you, "What do I do?" Say we meet at the Loves out on the road there, and I see you pulling up, and I see your bobtail or your garbage truck or whatever, and I'm like, "Well, how do I get into that?"
Well, the way I start is, they ask how I got into this, and I had a few drivers that actually came on board. I actually got my friend doing it. He loves it. Oh God, he loves it. He don't want to do anything else but this. But usually the first question they ask, "How did you get into it?" Well, I tell them, I said I was working a dead end job, and guy pulled up. His name was D Hill. He pulled up, and I started talking to him. Next thing I was a driveway driver, so it was like it was different. And I loved it. I can run how I run. I can run how I want to run, but do it the right way. But also the freedom of doing it. And when they're asking me about driveway, I explain to them. I say, look, it's 1099. I go through the spills of it. I even ask them. I even say, hey, do you got a record? Because how's your driving record? Is it good? Because the companies do look at that. What are you looking for? Is it something that you want to do? But I tell them, I say, you can pick your own loads. You work whenever you want to. That's the beauty of doing this. As long as you do one load a month, you can stay at home all day, But being on the road with somebody asking me, I tell them everything. I tell them, this is who I work for. Really good company. Never had steer. I got a good dispatcher. I got a good team behind me. They're not going to steer you in the wrong direction. They're not going to, say, hey, go do this, and then go, they're not here to mess you up. They're here to guide you and steer you to get you to the right place.
You're listening to Jarrieal Scott here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Wanted to ask you, you were talking about if someone had approached you about becoming a driver. What's it like being an independent contractor? Was that an adjustment?
It's a big adjustment. Working the average, doing it. I got tired of doing the same repetitive stuff every day, and it was like, your job. You come in, and it's like, before I actually got into this, I was actually thinking about leaving trucking and going. And I was just tired of it because it's the repetitive stuff. But then I also went at the time when the driver pulled up, and I was like, this is really, like when he pulled up, he actually changed my mind about trucking and about going for myself. Because when I first started driving, it was all about, oh, get your own truck and do this and do that. And I was like, no. I want to be a company driver. And because I don't want to tear up my truck that I'm paying for to tear up their truck and get the experience. So, okay, I should have never done that. But as far as like getting into it, I love it. I don't want to do anything else but to drive away.
I'm sure another question that comes up if somebody was asking you, the money. Not asking you how much you made, but has the money been good for you?
Oh, the money is great. The money's great. I love it. My bills are paid. I'm happy. Family loves me, loves it. I'm good.
Now, you'd mentioned family a couple times. What's the family for Jarrieal Scott?
No kids, no wife, no nothing. It's just me and the open road.
Okay.
Now, I do go home to cut the grass and take care of the house and stuff like that. But other than that, it's all about, like, I love what I do. If I can actually build a house and carry it with me while I'm driving, I would do it.
Gotcha. You're a true truck driver. There's no doubt about it. You are a true truck driver. And you had mentioned this. I want to kind of double back. We like to talk about this. Your relationship with your dispatcher. Now, Carson is your dispatcher, right?
Right.
We love Carson here, and I'm sure. What are your impressions of Carson?
Well, when I first met her, I was like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. And ever since then, I never had a problem with her. It was like, she keeps me rolling. She keeps me happy. At first, now, I was running from other contracts. And, I was doing like 1 or 2 loads a month or something like that. And then I started, she was like, oh, you could go to Canada now? And I was like, yeah, I can go to Canada. I've been going in and out of Canada before this, And next thing you know, it was this history.
Yeah, we'll run you to Canada.
Right. Oh, yeah. If you want to go, you got a passport, you just do it, I love it. And it's great money, And I don't do this for the money, really. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love to drive. I just love doing it.
You do it for the experience.
Right, that too.
Yeah. Now, I should say the experiences.
Yeah,
I mean, the things you get to see.
The sights and stuff, yeah.
I wanted to talk, was today the first time you'd met Carson in person?
Yes, today was the first time I met everybody in person. The first time I actually come into the office. I love it here.
Now, Carson's a sweetheart, I guess you get that same impression.
Oh, yeah. The whole team is.
How important is it to a driver, and what would you communicate to other drivers to have the kind of relationship you have with not only Carson but the whole dispatch team?
It's just an understanding. They're human. They make mistakes. You can't get mad. They're trying their hard. They're trying their best. And even if they don't answer the phone, I know that I could go call someone else, and I'll get someone else, and they'll relay the message to them. And they always call me back. I never had a better dispatcher since I've been driving, period, on the road.
You've been driving for 10 years, so Carson's the best you've had?
The best I had.
That's here you go.
The best one. I mean, call you, communicate. Communication is everything, especially like being on the road. You don't want to be out there and nobody don't communicate to you. Nobody don't talk to you. I can't work like that. Mm-hmm. Like you're driving, it's like, oh man, it's like the company don't care about me, you know. And a lot of drivers do feel that way. I'd rather somebody communicate with me than for me to be out there and I'm clueless, you know. And
knowledge is power.
Right. Oh yes. So like talking to her and talking to the team, it's great. They communicate everything. If I have a problem, I call. If I got an issue or something screwed up, they hold on a minute, let me call you back. And they call me right back 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. Hey, this what happened, that what happened. Or they'll call me, say like this, okay, I was at a customer, and I get there and the truck wasn't ready. So I'm sitting there. Other drivers will come in and start complaining. So they'll call me and say, hey, why did you call? I say, when do you know me to complain?
We love Jarrieal Scott here at Norton Transport.
It's a job, and things happen. So
right. They do.
I look at it like, hey, look, I'm going to get paid regardless. So I'd rather sit here and get my sleep and rest my body and then ready to drive. Because sometimes I do be like, get there and stuff is not ready. And I'll be like, oh, my God. So, you know, the customers, I never had a bad customer. Let me put it that way. When I get to a customer and things are not ready, I say, hey, what can I do? How long is it going to be? You know, and then I go from there. Or I call dispatch and say, hey, look, the truck ain't going to be ready. I'm going to a hotel. Or, you know,
you just roll with the flow.
I just go with the flow pretty much.
That's a good way to go there. You've joined us here in person, Jarrieal Scott. We thank you so much for joining us. Last question I wanted to ask you. We've talked about all these great statistics you've had: check-in, completion, miles a month, miles a day. You've done it well. You do it the way that this company certainly likes all of our drivers to do. What's your secret? What's your key to success that you can share with other drivers out there?
My secret is just paying attention to what you're doing. Doing it right, doing it by the book. Because like I said, my friend, you know, he said, man, you do everything by the book. And I do. I pay attention to what I'm doing because I don't like to make mistakes, but we all human. We make mistakes. So things do happen. But I don't want it to be something serious or cause somebody to lose their life or something like that. So I just pay attention to what I'm doing. Sleep is the key. Eating is the key. Family, just having good energy, good spirits, and waking up and it's a new day. The day's going to end, and it's going to be a new day tomorrow.
There you go.
So you try to make the best of the best.
No truer words spoken there. Jarrieal Scott, paying attention, going by the book, and getting paid to do it.
Right.
Jarrieal, thank you for joining us.
No problem. I enjoy myself.
Six Figure Trucker is brought to you by Norton Transport. Norton Transport is a drive-away trucking company that customers can rely on. It offers excellent independent contract driving opportunities to professional, courteous, and qualified drivers that can provide the kind of service we deliver. If you're interested in learning more about Norton or just want to subscribe to the show, check out 6-figuretrucker.com. That's 6-figuretrucker.com.